Welcome to the Three Mouseketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. I'm Jared.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Emily.
We have a very fun episode. We are going to be talking about attractions and rides that are gone but not forgotten at Walt Disney World. But first, let's get into some trivia. You guys ready for this one?
Yeah.
Always.
Are you sure? Because I feel like you're not going to get this one.
I disagree. Let's do it.
All right. At the Chapeau Shop in Magic Kingdom, there's a phone conversation that you can eavesdrop on. How much should a potential husband make before a daughter should consider marriage? Is it $6 a week, $8 a week, $10 a week, or $12 a week?
Okay, can we get a backstory to this? Because I've never even heard of this.
So there is a old-timey phone, like a wall phone, that had the crank on the side, right? And the bells. And you picked up the receiver and you spoke into this little horn, almost like speaker that was on front of the payphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where operators would actually have to connect you to the other phone number.
Right.
So if you pick up the receiver, you can listen in to this conversation, and they're just talking about like random stuff, you know, like the price of meats at the market and how the mother's husband is just not considering their budget for like 11 cents per ounce of meat for a steak. So it's just one of those weird little things that you can find in Disney.
That's very interesting.
All right. So the choices were 6, 8, 10, and 12?
6, 8, 10, and 12.
All right.
And that's per hour.
Per week.
No, per week.
Per week. Jeez. Okay, that changes what my answer is then. Okay, I'm gonna go with 10.
Emily's going with option C, $10 a week. Amanda, how do you feel?
I'm going to say 8 because I think it's probably pretty low, and I don't want to do the lowest because I think that's more obvious. So I'm going to say 8.
Okay. Well, I do want to mention this. This is not the only requirement that the mother talks about. The mother also talks about how a potential husband should have at least $300 saved.
I mean, that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
At 6, 8, 10, or $12 a week, that would still take a very long time.
Long time. I mean, if it's $10, it's going to take... Okay. I'm not going to do math. Anyway, go ahead.
This is not a math podcast.
No, it's not. Thankfully,
it would take what, 30 hours to get $300?
This
not
is
hours.
Oh wait, no, not hours. Wow, you're right.
Oh gosh,
10 a week. That is crazy. I cannot imagine.
It would take you 30 weeks, like half a year.
Yeah, 30 weeks. Wow.
And that's spending no money. That's just saving everything you got.
Yeah. That's not spending 11 cents per ounce on steak, or per pound, I think.
Obviously.
Per pound, I think is what it was, not ounce. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that one of you is correct. Emily, you are not correct. Amanda, you are right at option B, $8 per week.
Woo! I did it.
You did it. Congratulations, I guess.
Thank you.
All right, Emily. Well, I guess since you did not get that correct, why don't you go ahead and give us a history fact?
All right. Today's history, I'm going to talk a little bit about Walt Disney. I feel like we don't talk about him enough. Maybe we do.
Who's this?
I don't know.
Who are you talking about?
You know, Walt Disney. Just the man who started it all.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So, did y'all know that Walt Disney holds the record for the most Oscar wins in history?
No.
Really?
He does.
Okay, hold on. So, are we
Is it
talking
him
about
personally?
him as a person or him as an organization? Like just because his name is on it, he's
I
getting
think it's
credited.
him personally. From what I've read, it's him personally. He has 22 wins over the course of his career, but he was nominated 59 times.
Wow.
Yeah. His
Interesting.
first. Okay, well, I will say this. So it's like him. I don't know anything about awards, guys, but it says that his very first win was for Flowers and Trees, which is a short. And then his last award that he ever won was for another short, and it was Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day.
Okay. And which awards are these? Do you not have that?
What does that mean?
The Academy Awards, the Golden Globes.
Is it a Tony? Did he win a Tony? Please tell me he won a Tony.
Oscars, Academy
Oscars.
Awards.
Okay.
I said that at the beginning of this. I prefaced
Yeah,
it
but-
with
You
that.
just forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
then we were talking about shorts, and I don't know. I don't remember there being shorts and the Oscars. So
Maybe there were before and there's
Maybe
not
there were.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like shorts aren't like as big of a thing anymore either.
no, you'd
I
be
feel
surprised.
like
But most of them are like in indie film festivals and stuff.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
feel like they were a little more like popular.
But
And
I
back
they
do.
in the
do
day.
have other awards that they have that are part of the show that they just don't broadcast.
Yeah, that's
They're like
true.
smaller awards, so
And I
they
feel
don't
like-
actually show them.
And I feel like shorts might actually be a part of that. I could be wrong.
Yeah. It says that he won multiple awards for animated shorts, but he also won awards for Best Live Action Shorts, Best Documentary Shorts,
And best
And
cargo
his-
shorts.
No, that's what I was thinking.
and just Best Documentary in general. So,
Very interesting.
yeah,
Who knew?
I know. Pretty crazy.
Well, that's
It
pretty
is.
cool. I like that. Thanks, Em.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Walt Disney, let's move right on over to Walt Disney World and let me give you a tip on how to choose the best resort for you. So today I wanted to talk about convenience to the parks whenever you're choosing your hotel. To me, the most convenient way to get to any of the parks is by walking. And there are actually a few hotels where you can walk to the parks. Do y'all know what they are?
Ooh, I can guess. Contemporary is one of them for sure.
Oh, I was going to say
Mhm.
Tower of Terror.
Oh, that
that's
is
not
very convenient though.
It is,
It is.
but it's not an actual hotel.
Oh,
scratch that one off.
Cinderella's room at
That is actually probably the most convenient, but
Yeah.
nobody can stay there, so that one's out as well.
I mean, some
So
people
I'll
can
go
stay
ahead.
there.
Yeah, it's cost way too much money for the average Joe, and I can't book that. So yeah, I think you have to be basically a celebrity and be invited to stay there. It's not going to happen.
I'm waiting for my invitation.
Okay,
Me
keep
too.
waiting. You're going to be waiting a long time. Anyway, so to me, the absolute most convenient walking wise would be Beach Club, Yacht Club, and the Boardwalk. And the reason I choose those three is because they are walkable to not one, but two parks. You can walk to Epcot, which is a very short walk, and Hollywood Studios also, although it's about a mile to get there, but it's still very walkable. And whenever you're at the end of the day and don't want to wait for transportation, that's very convenient.
At
Or
the
trying to get
end
there
of the
for rope
day,
drop.
at the end of the day, to walk a mile, good
Hey.
luck. I am not doing that. I am taking an Uber.
You're gonna limp a mile.
Yes.
Hey, exactly. Or first thing in the morning if you're trying to rope drop.
Okay,
I mean,
that's
it's pretty convenient.
a little bit more my speed. than after a
right.
long day in the park. Let's
Hey,
walk a mile back to our hotel. Some people do it
and
though. So
they do.
if it's your thing, it's your thing. It's not mine.
Also walkable to Magic Kingdom is the Contemporary, which Em mentioned earlier. And they just recently opened the walkway from the Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom. So that is walkable now too. And if you really wanted to get snazzy, I guess, you could walk from the Polynesian because there's a walkway from the Polynesian to the Grand Floridian. And now that walkway is open to Magic Kingdom. So you could technically walk from the Polynesian all the way to Magic Kingdom.
Or
I
you
guess
can
I
swim.
didn't. I was gonna say I didn't realize that you could walk from the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian because I was thinking that it was like over or like you would have to cross water.
You do. They actually just opened the walkway like a week ago. I mean, it's very new.
So but the walkway goes over the lake.
There is a bridge over the water, and it's just smaller boats that go under it, so it doesn't mess with the flow of the boats.
That's pretty cool. I like that they added a walking option.
I know. I think that's a great idea. So the next mode of transportation, the second most convenient in my eyes, is probably the Skyliner, just because it seems to move so much faster than the other modes of transportation, I think. So, and it also goes to 2 different parks. So it goes to Epcot and to Hollywood Studios also. The hotels that are attached to it are Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, and the Riviera.
I do want to say this. People do get stuck on the Skyliner sometimes.
But they have an emergency bag under your seat for your convenience.
Exactly.
Oh, then it's all good now.
They even have a bag in the emergency bag for you to go to the bathroom in. These are real facts.
They are.
I'm just so happy you brought that up.
Yeah, and
No.
if you're stuck up there with people that you don't know, which
Too
you
bad.
wouldn't be now, but
Yeah.
during normal times and you really are in a bind, you gotta go.
Yeah. Can you please turn around?
Yeah.
That's awkward. Anyway, beside the point, I do think that the Skyliner is very convenient, and I kind of liked the Skyliners. They were pretty fun to ride.
I do like the Skyliner.
Yeah. So I think they're a great option if you're looking for something that's convenient to the parks.
I agree.
The next most convenient, I would say, is probably the monorail. There are only 3 hotels that are attached to the monorail, and that's going to be the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian. These are all in the deluxe category, so they could be out of budget, and that makes it not quite as convenient for everybody. And usually you can also go to the Ticket and Transportation Center and catch the monorail to Epcot from there as well. But right now that line is closed. So especially right now, I think it's not quite as convenient as the Skyliner because that definitely takes you to 2 different parks.
I do like the monorails. The monorails are very fun.
They are fun. I like the monorail too. Especially though, leaving Magic Kingdom at night whenever the fireworks are going on and you're trying to leave with everybody else, that's painful to have to stand in those lines for the monorail because everybody has to get on the monorail, whether you're going back to your hotel or you're going back to your car. That's the only way really to leave Magic Kingdom unless you're going by boat or walking. So,
or by Peter Pan.
Yeah.
That's not an option.
It's not. But yeah, so I think that kind of makes it a little less convenient on the monorail just because everybody has to pretty much take it to leave the park.
Yeah.
The last hotels I want to mention are accessible to the parks by boat. And there are actually quite a few of those. There are 4 that go to the Magic Kingdom. Those are the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, Wilderness Lodge, and Fort Wilderness, the campgrounds and the cabins. To Epcot and Hollywood Studios, you can take a boat from the Yacht Club, the Beach Club, or from Boardwalk. Normally, they're not open right now, but normally.
Yeah, very interesting. It's not one of those things that comes to mind very often to just ride a boat at Disney World.
No, it's not. And so I think that's kind of why they're one of the least convenient, I think. And then, of course, all of the hotels have buses that go to the parks that you can't walk there, or there's not the monorail or whatever. But the buses are not my favorite mode of transportation.
Mine either.
I like the buses.
I just know right now it's a little different because of COVID and the social distancing aspect. But normally they can get really crowded, especially at night. And sometimes you have to wait for multiple buses before you get on one. So that's why I just think they're not quite as convenient as some of these other modes of transportation.
Yeah. Don't ride the buses. All right.
But they are free, so that is nice when you don't have to worry about driving or whatever. You can just hop on a bus and go wherever you need to go.
Okay, well, very cool, Amanda. If you want to book a trip and want Amanda's expertise on obviously booking all of these resorts, go ahead and contact her. Her information is in the show notes. Emily, we have a segment this week, and it's Disney bounding. Why don't you go ahead and get into that?
All right. So I thought that in the holiday spirit, I would do Disney bounding as none other than Queen Elsa. She's not really a queen anymore, but she'll always be a queen to me.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's no longer Queen Elsa.
What is she, an element? Go Element Elsa.
Okay.
Yeah, she's right next to Iron on the chart.
Yes. So if you would prefer, we're Disney bounding as Element Elsa. Because, it's winter, and I felt like this was an appropriate character.
I agree. I think this is a very good choice.
Yeah. I wanted to do Elsa eventually, and why not now?
Yeah,
you could have done
sense.
Santa Claus.
He's not a Disney character.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay. So we have two options that I put together for Elsa, and you can look at those options and view them while I'm talking about them on our Instagram or our Facebook, and you can find us on both of those platforms at T3M podcast. So for option A, it's a little bit more girly. Well, they're both girly. It's Elsa. How can you get around that? So, but there's a skirt involved. So I found this, it's girly.
Okay.
Okay. I found this really cool skirt that I thought kind of embodied Elsa perfectly. It's kind of sheer, like it has a sheer overlay that's an ombre, so from a lighter blue to a darker blue, just like Elsa's dress. And then I found a light blue shirt to go with it that just says "Let It Go." So I thought a Frozen shirt would make it a little bit more casual, something you can wear to the parks and not like super dressy. And then also, to keep it casual, but also really fun, I found some white sparkly sneakers. And they're just Keds. I actually had the same ones for my wedding, except in pink, so I can vouch that they're comfortable. But I thought that the sparkles, it reminds me of snow and winter and Elsa. And then I found a really cool Disney Frozen bag that's silver, and if you look closely, it has Elsa like ingrained in it. To add another accessory to the outfit, I have a really pretty light blue ring and some snowflake earrings. I figured...
I thought that the ring was maybe a bracelet, so I'm glad you said it was a ring.
It's a ring. It's kind of hard to identify between a ring and a bracelet from the picture, but a bracelet would work as well. It can be whatever you want it to be.
It should have a banana for scale.
Oh, I'll put a banana in the picture next time.
Yeah.
Thank you for that
Like,
suggestion.
really small in the right corner.
Yeah. Okay, next time. So back to the snowflake earrings. I thought we definitely needed snowflakes to represent Elsa. And to match the snowflake earrings, we have snowflake mini ears. And I really love these. They're super fun. They're from Etsy, so they're handmade. And you should check them out. They're really cute. And that's it for option A. Okay, option B. This one I went with pants instead of a skirt. So just white jeans. They remind me of winter. And then a darker blue top with a long blue cardigan, long baby blue cardigan over it. Elsa has that really long, flowy cape thing. And so my casual daily take on that was a long cardigan. I don't think you want to wear a cape necessarily. I mean, maybe you do. You do
Hey,
you.
you never know.
Yeah, but I would probably maybe not wear a cape. So maybe a cardigan. And then I found some light blue shoes to go with it and some Olaf earrings. I really wanted one of these outfits to have Olaf because he's just the best little best friend sidekick ever. So Olaf earrings. And my absolute favorite part of this look is this really cool snowflake crossbody bag. I think it's like a Betsy Johnson bag and it's amazing. I love it. And to finish it off, I went with a sparkly headband that kind of reminded me a little bit of like a tiara since Elsa was a queen and is now an element. And that completes option B.
You did a great job with both of those. Like
Thank
normal.
you. Thanks.
I agree. Amanda, which one's your favorite?
I was going to say, you make it really tough to decide between these two, which is good. I really like on A, the skirt. It's so perfect because it has like that tulle overlay, just like Elsa's dress does. So it really does fit perfectly. And the shoes look super comfortable and they're super cute. But I think I'm going to choose B. The earrings, the little Olaf earrings, are just so adorable. And the outfit just looks so much more comfortable for walking around the parks all day. So I think I would have to choose B.
All right. What about you, Jared?
I'm going to be honest. I'm a sucker for a skirt. So I'm going to go with option A because
Big
it
surprise.
is perfect.
You always choose the skirts.
Yeah.
And I
I
would
do.
really like to see you wearing these skirts sometime.
That would be interesting for sure.
It would.
It really comes down to the skirt because the skirt is perfect to
Yeah.
Disney bound as Element Elsa, I guess we're saying now. Also, the shoes are very cute, and I think they go with the skirt very well. So I think that combination in itself is why I'm picking A. I mean, B is very cute. Don't get me wrong, but I just think A is better.
Yeah, I lean more towards A as well. I know I've said it a billion times, but I really like wearing dresses to the park. I think it's really comfortable and it's nice for the hot weather. And so a dress and a skirt, kind of similar things. And I really like
are they?
option A. Yeah, I mean, pretty similar.
Kinda, I guess.
Yeah. They're in the same category.
Okay, well, I guess head over to our social media at T3M Podcast and let us know which one is your favorite. All right, let's go ahead and get into our main topic. As I mentioned earlier in the episode, our main topic tonight is going to be gone but not forgotten attractions at Walt Disney World. The first one that I want to bring up is the Backlot Studio Tour.
Oh, yeah. This is on my list, too.
Is it?
I
Okay,
love
I'm
that.
so happy.
Yeah, mine too.
I'm so happy we all chose this one because, let's be honest, it's not like a thrill ride until you get to like that one setup with the truck that's on fire, but
Yeah.
it's it's a fun ride, I thought.
It was. It was like a movie. It was an actual movie set. And
Yeah.
so you had all of those elements in it that made it exciting, that particular part. But I also liked that they had the audience participation. So you got to feel like you were part of a movie, you know? So I think that's something that's missing there now. And I really liked that.
I know, me too. And this just like feels like the more traditional Hollywood studios, like when it was MGM still. And I really loved this ride. I have a lot of really good memories. And I even liked, you know, how before and after the ride, you got to see a lot of props that were actually used in movies
Yep.
whenever you were just walking through the queue. And that was really cool.
I know it
And
was.
it's sad that it's gone. I want it back.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, I do too. One of the things that I really liked about it was that you got to go past the wardrobe and costume department.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
also got to go past the prop and set shop.
Yeah, those are very cool. And you could see the people actually inside working on costumes, like people that really work for Disney and really make costumes and design sets and stuff.
Yeah.
You could see them in there working.
It was really cool. That was such a unique aspect of that ride that you just can't get everywhere else.
Yeah, I agree completely. I
Or now
missed that
anywhere
one.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to mention is that within the movie props, one, the spaceship from Flight of the Navigator
I
was
love
there.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then also,
The Golden Girls house.
yeah. And what else? Anybody else
The
know?
Herbie car.
The Herbie car. Anything else? I'm having fun with this.
There was an airplane. Whose airplane was it?
Mhm. It was Walt Disney's airplane.
It was Walt Disney's airplane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was such a cool ride. That is definitely a missing spot from Hollywood Studios now.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
and
so too.
I also feel like it was one of those rides, which I mean, hey, maybe this is why it isn't around anymore, but it was one of those rides where there was never a super long wait. So it was always kind of like a guarantee you could get on and ride it and relax for a little bit.
You could, but those trams held a lot of people. And
That's true
I
as
think,
well.
why it moved so quickly is because you could put so many people on those trams, and they would have multiple trams going at one time.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of people, and it made it where there weren't long lines throughout the whole park because they were spread out a little bit more,
Right.
which was nice too.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think it takes away from the park is giving younger kids like this idea that, oh, this is how movies are made, and I kind of want to do that. So I think that takes that element away from it.
Yeah, I think Hollywood Studios has lost all of that. It doesn't feel like studios anymore.
Right.
It's lost its identity.
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
I think one of the reasons why it's no longer there is because I just think that Universal was doing it better, in all honesty. From what I can remember, I haven't been to Universal since probably 2007, so it's been a while. But from what I remember, it seemed like they had a lot more stuff going on than Disney had at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess just because I'm such a Disney fan and I love like the classic, more traditional Disney stuff, I feel like Hollywood Studios was great the way it was. It's still great in a different way, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the last thing that I want to mention about the Backlot Studio Tour is it gave you another opportunity to see, everybody say it with me now, the backside of water. Nobody said it with me. Why didn't you say it with me?
Because I didn't know what you were going to say.
Oh,
Yeah,
well-
me either, because I don't remember that joke being in this ride at all.
It wasn't, but you
It
did
wasn't.
see the backside
But you
of
do
water.
see the backside of water. Or you did
Yes.
while it was there.
Whenever you were in the movie set part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
the truck is on fire.
Yeah,
and they dump all the water out.
you're right.
You see the backside of water. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. And moving right along, we're going to stay in Hollywood studios because one of the things that I miss the most is the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights.
That made my list too.
It did not make my list.
What is wrong with you? Anyway, I loved seeing that at Christmas. That was one of my favorite things whenever we would go for Christmas. It just walking down the streets of New York and seeing all the lights, I don't know, it just felt really Christmassy. And they had hot chocolate out there and I don't know.
It snowed.
It
Yeah.
did. It just was very Christmas to me.
You're about
Yeah.
the
I really like
lights and
that.
the fireworks and the shows.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
I'm not surprised that this is one thing that you decided to mention.
Did you see those ever, Jared?
Yeah.
You did?
I don't
Okay, I couldn't
necessarily
remember.
remember them so well, but I did see them.
How could you forget? I mean, there were millions of lights. I mean, it
Yeah.
was amazing.
Look, I was very busy being a star at Hollywood Studios, okay?
Uh-huh.
At the
Mhm.
time, it
you
was
were.
MGM. I was a very important person.
I really loved the Osborne family spectacle of dancing lights. That's a kind of a long title, but it was really one of my absolute favorite things about Disney at Christmas, and going to Disney at Christmas now doesn't quite feel the same without it. Like, I really do miss it, and I think that it was something super special that they should not have gotten rid of.
I mean, shows come and go, right?
Yes,
So
but they took away like a huge portion of the Christmas at Disney whenever they took it away. Like, it was a really big deal, and like those streets would be flooded with people whenever the lights were on and it was snowing and the Christmas music was playing, and that's part of it. The lights all danced to the music and the snow went to the music and everything was like synchronized, and it was really, really cool and special.
But I
I
mean,
agree.
you would have had to take it and put it somewhere else in the park after the redesign, right?
Right. And I think that's one of the things. They did close it before they took away the streets of New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know where else they could have put it. But it is definitely missed there.
They could have put it in the Haunted Mansion
No.
in Magic Kingdom. Let's just
No.
move it to the Haunted Mansion.
It just doesn't fit. I don't know where they could have moved it that would have made it as good. Just because of the way it was there. It was high, the sets were high on the streets of New York, and they were kind of closed in. So you got a full effect of it being just lights all around you. And I just don't know of any other place at Walt Disney World where you have that.
Yeah.
I just can't think of anywhere else that it would fit. But it is missed.
Okay. Well, Emily, what about you? What's your first one that comes to mind?
I am going to go to a different park. I do have more Hollywood studios, but I want to switch it up a little bit. And I really miss Maelstrom from Epcot. So, if you don't know, Maelstrom was the ride that was in the Norway Pavilion that Frozen took its place. And Maelstrom, like, okay, I love Frozen. I think it's a great ride, but it's a movie that was put into the Norway Pavilion, and Maelstrom actually like told the story of old Norway and like the history of Norway and the Vikings and all of that stuff, and I loved that ride so much, and I remember being so disappointed whenever I heard that it was closing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't make my list, but it was close. I agree. I miss that. I think they could have still had the Frozen ride, but put it somewhere else, and it would have been okay.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of makes me a little bit sad that they took a ride that like taught people about Norway and replaced it with a movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love the Frozen ride. I just think that there could have been a more appropriate place for it.
Yeah. Not everything has to have IP. I don't think.
Exactly. I agree. Some of the best rides, in my opinion, do not have IP.
Right.
So I know Maelstrom was not a super, super popular ride. A lot of times it really had no weight, but I really loved it. And I know there is a big fan base that backs me up on this. So
yeah. I'm going to be honest. It did not make my list. Not because I think it was a terrible ride or anything, but just because I kind of understand the logic behind it. Like if you're going to put Frozen anywhere, Epcot makes sense. And you're not going to put a Frozen ride in the French Pavilion. It's just not going to happen. But just like Emily said, it wasn't a very popular ride that people would go and just wait in line for. Now look at it. People wait, minimum is
Hours.
like an hour.
Which I get that from Disney's perspective.
Disney's perspective is you have to take care of your real estate. You have to put things in perspective in why they're doing it. And
which I get, but also the purpose of the World Showcase is to teach people about different countries. And to me, now you're just going to Frozen. You're not going to Norway.
And that's a very good point as well.
Yeah. And I'll say it again. I love the Frozen ride. I just think that Maelstrom fit better. But it's fine. I'll move past it one day.
One day, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, well, I want to take it back to Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios
Not
has
surprising.
so many because they just completely revamped the whole park.
Yeah, exactly. So the one that I specifically want to mention is the Great Movie Ride.
Obviously. I think we probably all had that on our list.
I did not have it on my list.
Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
And the only reason I didn't have it on my list is because I think it was dated and needed updating a little bit. That's the only reason. I liked that ride. I just think they needed to add some newer movies and along with it.
That's fair, but coming from my perspective, being a very big movie fan, especially whenever it comes to older movies, I really appreciated what the Great Movie Ride was.
Yeah, I really loved it. I even loved like the super cheesy acting when your vehicle got taken over, and like that was fun. It was something different.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fairly long ride, like a 12 to 15 minutes or something like that. So it gave you
and in the air condition.
Yeah, it gave you time to sit down, and
you really can't beat it, honestly.
No. And I mean, it has so many good references to movies that I absolutely love. So it's hard for me to look at Hollywood Studios and not think of the Great Movie Ride in the Chinese theater. But
I know.
I mean, look, and that's not to say that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is not an amazing ride, because it really is. I wouldn't have rode it twice. I wouldn't have taken the time to try to go and get in line again at the end of the night if I didn't like the ride. So what replaced it is very good. Just like Emily was saying with Frozen, it's kind of one of those aspects, right? You love the ride that was there, but you love the ride that replaced it. So you're heartbroken, but not completely at the same time, I guess.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too is just that nostalgic feeling that a lot of the old Hollywood Studios attractions gave us. Like, we loved the old MGM Studios and the old Hollywood Studios, and we love the new one too, but like
for different reasons.
Yeah, and the old stuff was really great, and it'd be really cool if we could have both, but we can't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Hollywood Studios again because most of mine came from Hollywood Studios.
All right.
And I want to talk about the American Idol experience.
Ooh, that did not make my list.
Did not make my list either.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was so much fun going and seeing the people sing and have like a little competition on the stage. I just thought that was fun.
I hate that sort of thing.
Really?
Watching people do that, like, I don't know. I hate it. It's so cringy. I don't want to take any part in it.
All right. See, to me, it really fit when Hollywood Studios was more like a studios because it felt like you were going to an actual live performance taping of the actual show. I know it wasn't, and some of the singers were not necessarily great, but it felt, I don't know, it was just a fun little addition to it, I think. And they actually won stuff whenever they did that. So if they won for their day, then I think they won like Bass Passes or something, which was super fun.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. And I agree, it did fit with the old Hollywood Studios. Like they had this did not make my list either, but they had a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire that was just like the show as well. Yeah. And all of that really fit well with the old version of Hollywood Studios.
I think so too. And like the other ones, I like the new Frozen sing along. But I don't know. I kind of liked the interaction and stuff that you got with the American Idol experience where you got to vote for which ones you liked. And I don't know. I just thought that was fun.
Sounds like a big popularity contest to me.
But you don't know those people who are up on the stage.
But you can tell.
Okay.
You can tell.
Yeah, you can tell who the cheerleaders are up there. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Who the football players are. It's definitely popularity.
It is. It kind of reminds me of when I was young and I did a movie in Walt Disney World, MGM Hollywood Studios.
We're not talking about this.
It was really fun. I played a character called Nick Diamond.
Oh my gosh. So is that what you miss the most?
That is what I missed the most. Yep. That is definitely what I missed the most. I was going to be projected into stardom, but Dad just did not buy the videotape. Oh,
Dad actually buying it was what was going to make you a star.
Yeah.
A star in your own head.
Well, but
got it. Okay.
Mostly because I could reflect on my acting abilities and be able to be like, oh, I really could have hit this line a little harder, or I could have, said it in this different way. I could have really learned from it if I would have just had that videotape.
And moving on. Go ahead, Em. What's your next one?
Okay. I am also moving on from Hollywood Studios again.
What a bummer.
There actually is one more that I have in Hollywood Studios, but I'll save it. Okay. So I'm moving to the Magic Kingdom. And this is actually probably one of the things that I miss the most whenever I think of things that are gone from Disney World. And it is the Main Street Electrical Parade. I loved this parade, and it really makes me sad that it's not there anymore, because now there's no nighttime parade except at these special after hours Christmas and Halloween events.
Yeah.
But this was such a great parade, and all of the floats were completely decked out in lights, and it felt really special and magical. And it was, you could set up your spot on Main Street and watch the parade and have the castle backdrop. And I think that it was a really great parade. And whenever they took it away, I expected them to replace it with a new and better electrical lights parade at night, and they didn't. I think that they had no intention of doing that, and that makes me really sad that they took it away and never put anything in its place.
Yeah, losing that was a bummer for sure.
Yeah. I feel like Disney has really limited, and I'm talking pre-pandemic, had really limited their parades. Like, they were cutting back on them, and I love the parades.
I love the parades
Yeah.
too. Not necessarily because I love going to the parades, but because it brings a lot of people away from the rides and I can go get on stuff quicker.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I like that aspect of it as well. But I just love, even if it's just in passing, like I'm walking down Main Street to head to an attraction and I hear the music and see the parade and like just seeing it and hearing it and knowing it's there, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. See, I liked the electrical parade, but it wasn't something I had to see every time. Even though normally I'm definitely a shows and fireworks and lights type of person.
Yeah, that surprises
That
me.
it wasn't one that I always sought out. I actually only saw it, I think, once.
See, I loved it more than the daytime parades, and I found myself stopping to watch it more so than I typically would for a regular daytime one.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. Just because the lights and
Yeah.
it's a little more interesting than just watching a float with characters.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay, well, surprise, surprise, I'm bringing it back to Hollywood Studios.
Not surprised.
So this next one that I want to talk about is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh yes, this is on my list too.
Okay, mine too. Y'all are talking about the playground,
Play
right?
area.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. My list as well. This
Yeah,
is my
yes.
childhood.
Yes, I absolutely loved it.
Yes. It was so much fun. My kids would have loved that play area.
Yeah.
The ones they have now just don't even
They don't compare.
compare. You can't
No.
even say that they're a playground.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Whenever I think about Disney, whenever I was like 5 years old, I think about this playground. That is
Yeah.
like my first memory of Disney,
Yeah.
or one of them.
Yeah. And the thing is, whenever Jared and our first trip, this was there. And I remember us playing on that the very first time we went to Disney World. So I was so sad when they took that away.
I know. It was really cool. It really did, like, whenever I think back on it, because you're so little as a kid and the stuff was so oversized, it really did make you feel like you were shrunk down to that little, like, ant size.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a
loved
good
that.
one. I'm glad you mentioned it.
Yeah, everything about this playground was amazing. I really wish I could go back in time and experience it again. At least
I
one
know,
more
me
time.
too.
Yeah.
I remember they even had giant bugs. Like, I remember the ants
A big
were
ant. Yeah.
huge. Yes.
Yeah. Now, one thing I can say as an adult, it's kind of nerve-wracking because that playground was so big that it's hard to find your kids.
Yeah.
So I remember when I took my oldest, actually Jared and I took my oldest to Disney World, and they got lost in that playground, and we had a hard time. Yeah, so I can understand that part, them maybe wanting to get rid of it, but I am pretty sad it's gone.
You know what? You live and you learn. Let's keep Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. The
Bring it
playground.
back.
Yeah, let's bring it back. I mean, you know what? Kids might get lost. That's fine.
I can just put
We'll
a
find them at some
disclaimer
point.
outside.
Yeah. They should like give out wristbands and be like, hey, this is where they go at the end of the night. This is the resort they're staying at. Just ship them there. It'll be fine.
Do
Yeah.
it like Chuck E. Cheese, and you can't leave unless you have the right kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What about the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience at Epcot?
Yeah, that was also
Yeah.
on my list.
That one's a good
I
one as
feel
well.
like it's like this time period of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like the movie. They came out with all these different things at Disney, and it was great. It was a great time at Disney.
It was. I really missed that movie.
I know. I had that one on my list, and I really liked it. Just like the playground, it made you feel like you were little bitty and you
Yeah.
were really like in the movie.
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. Okay, so I have one final Hollywood Studios
Yes, give it to me. I love it. I love it. All the Hollywood studios.
I know. There were so many good ones that are gone now.
It just went through so many like drastic changes. It was inevitable that Hollywood Studios was going to be the biggest one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one that I feel like might surprise some people that I really miss, but I do. And it's the Lights Motor Action Extreme Stunt Show. Because even though there were things that I hated about it, like the fact that you were just roasting in the bleachers in the 100-degree weather.
Yeah.
But I really liked that show because it took you behind the scenes as to how like stunts are actually performed in movies, which is a really neat inside look. And there were explosions and there were fast cars and there were loud noises and it was good. I was a fan of it.
Yeah, I remember it, and I remember it fondly. I know that there are issues with just baking in the sun, but I mean, it was fun to go and watch. Again, like you said, Emily, like just getting the idea of how these stunts are done and, you know, just watching the stunts in general was just a fun time.
Yes. And some of them, like you would think that they would be like really cheesy, not cool ones, but there were some really cool stunts that were kind of like would take your breath away for a second because you would be like, oh my gosh, is the person dead? And they weren't.
Thankfully.
Yeah. I just remember the first time that my husband went to Disney with us, I was so excited for him to get to see this show. Like, because I feel like it is something that's more fun for like
First
people.
time.
Yes. And well, and people that are like men, you know?
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm saying? Like people who aren't as into like the Disney rides and stuff like we are. I feel like this was just something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying now.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't really know how to put that, but you get it.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my thing with that one is it wasn't something that I had to go see every time. It wasn't something that I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go see that before I go. My Disney trip isn't complete if I don't go see that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I didn't mention it, although it was cool.
Yeah.
It just wasn't an every time type thing. I could go every 2 or 3 trips before I had to see it again.
All right. I don't really have any others. You know, obviously all of mine were in Hollywood Studios, but I do want to mention one for sure that some people might not remember. Some people, obviously the younger crowd, might not even know existed, but I'm going to bring up Captain EO.
Okay.
Yeah, but did you even see Captain EO?
I don't know that I did, and that's why it didn't make my list. But
yeah,
like just the idea of this is crazy to me.
You know, they did bring it back for a little while.
For a little while, yes.
I was going to say, we actually talked about this on our live show, and out of the 3 of us, I was the only one that saw it because I saw it whenever they did the like little reboot that they did of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ran from 1986 through 1998, so it was there whenever we went, but we did not ride it because I don't remember it specifically, but they brought it back. When did they bring it back? In 2010 through 2015.
Yeah, I think I saw it in 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, this attraction was, for those who don't know, it starred Michael Jackson.
It was a movie.
It was a movie. It was an attraction. It was a movie that you sat through.
You make it sound like it's a ride.
No. I mean, they call everything an attraction, right? So it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was 3D, correct?
Yeah.
It was like a 3D
and there
ride?
Were also like, yeah, and I'm not sure if I remember correctly, there were like effects too. Like, more like 4D, not 4D, but
Yeah.
that
I know
involved your
what you're
other
saying.
senses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have made my list because I didn't see it. So
Yeah. And again, that's why it's an honorable mention, not something that I'm missing. It's just something that at the time, whenever it was there, obviously should have been like a big thing with Michael Jackson. So
yeah,
I'm not sure why we didn't write it. And if we did, why I don't remember it.
yeah, I don't remember it.
So
If we did, I'm really surprised when you mentioned Epcot that you didn't mention Journey into Imagination with Figment, the original, that you don't miss that one.
yeah, but so Figment is still there.
He is, but the
So
ride isn't as good.
that's fair. But obviously I wanted to stay Hollywood Studio specific.
Apparently. Yeah, I actually do have a couple of other ones. And they're actually both at Magic Kingdom. The first one is Mickey's Toontown Fair.
I had that one as well.
I really loved that area. It was so cute. You could walk through Minnie and Mickey's house, and that's where you got to meet them. It was just really well done. And they almost felt like little playhouses. So when I was younger, I really wanted Mickey's house or Minnie's house as my playhouse. It just felt like it was a perfect size to have as a playhouse.
Yeah, that was my last one that I had to talk about as well. And kind of the same thing that you said. Like, I remember being little and going through it and like wishing that I had something like that in my backyard. It was really cute. And I also just like being in that mindset of a little kid. Like, I truly thought that Minnie and Mickey and like all of the characters lived in their little houses. Like, that's where they went at the end of the day. So I think it's something that was really cute for kids to get to see and like imagine and stuff.
Exactly. Do you remember that at all, Jared?
No, not particularly. No, I can't say that I do. When would we have gone where we went to that area?
I mean, honestly, it hasn't.
Whenever they redid Fantasyland and everything and moved the Dumbo ride, that's when it went away.
Yeah, it really hasn't. I mean,
it hasn't been that long.
Not that long in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't.
Maybe the last 10 years. I don't even know if it's been that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. So obviously I don't miss it.
I really liked that area. And the last one that I thought is something that was really cool before was the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Being right there in the middle of Magic Kingdom. I just thought that was really cool. And it felt like you were going really deep in the ocean, but you really weren't. You were really staying right there on top.
Yeah. Now, you know that 20,000 leagues isn't the depth, right? It's how far you go. Like the distance you travel, not how far deep you go.
Yes, but it's on a submarine.
Yeah, I know. I'm just throwing it out there because some people think that 20,000 leagues under the sea means like 20,000 leagues deep under the sea. And it does not. Yeah, I thought of that one as well. And I just don't miss it as much as the others that I mentioned.
Well, it wasn't really around for that long since we've been going to the parks. So I can see how it doesn't. I remember the first time us going, so it's nostalgic type thing for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I remember it being there and thinking it was so neat being on that ride the very first time we went.
Right.
So
I can't really say anything about this one because I never got to experience it. But I mean, I've heard things about it, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I heard things.
Yeah.
I feel like we would be in the wrong if we did not mention this next one. This is not something that I've experienced. This is not something that is even at Disney World. This is not something that I think anybody really misses. This is Superstar Limo at California Adventure.
I watched a whole YouTube video about this. It was pretty awful.
It looks like one of the worst Disney rides ever.
Yeah, it was bad.
But at the same time, you got to be a superstar. So.
Uh-huh.
Like if you, okay, go watch some of the like ride throughs on YouTube. Basically, like you land in LA and you get an agent and you're going through these movies and then you make your own movie all while you're in a limo. But
And
it's
aren't
like
you being,
it's a slow ride. It's not even like a fast ride or anything. It's not a thrill ride.
No, I think that there's a ride now at California Adventure, and it's the Monsters Inc. ride. And I'm pretty sure that it took the place of that, and they use the same ride vehicles, if I remember correctly. And that ride's really fun, but it's very, very, very slow moving.
Yes, so it was replaced by the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue.
Yeah, it was a good replacement because that's a good ride.
But I really...
So, I just really wanted to know why you mentioned this, because we're talking about Disney World rides, the ones that we missed. And it doesn't hit either one of those.
It doesn't hit either one of those. But I'm curious, because I'm curious if anybody misses this ride. This ride was not even around a full year.
I feel like no one misses it.
Probably not. So
I didn't even know it existed, so I do not miss it.
The opening date of this ride was February 8th, 2001. It closed January 11th of 2002.
Yeah, it's short-lived.
Very short-lived. So the ride missed the mark, in my opinion.
Apparently.
Again, go watch the YouTube ride-throughs. We are a very Disney positive podcast, but I did want to mention this because it was just like so off the mark by Disney.
Okay. If you say so.
Those are the only ones I have. Emily, you said you were out of them. Amanda, do you have any more?
Nope, those were that was the end.
Okay.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea was my last one.
All right. It's a good way to end off the episode, I think. So I guess go to our social media and let us know what rides that are no longer at Disney World that you miss. Do you agree with our list? Did we miss anything? Do you really miss Superstar Limo? I'm really interested in that one. So let's go ahead and get into some mousekeeping. We want to promote our YouTube. You can find it at bit.ly/T3M YouTube, and that's all lowercase. We are doing live streams, me, Amanda, and Emily sometimes. One of us might not be there, but most of the time we are all together doing live streams. That is every other Thursday. If we're not on the podcast, then we're doing the live stream. If we're not on the live stream, we're doing the podcast. All right, if you love the show, let us know. Leaving us a 5-star written review is the best way for us to know how we're doing and if we're covering the topics that you want us to cover.
When you're ready to plan your next Walt Disney World vacation, let me know and I can be your guide. You can find all of my contact information in the show notes, and you can follow me on Facebook at Amanda.hollis, Capture the Magic Vacations.
Join us for our next episode releasing Thursday, the 24th of December, where we will be talking about our ideas for a Disney-themed Christmas tree. Be sure you're subscribed to the show so that you're updated when a new episode comes out every other Thursday.
All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all for listening. You can also be a part of the magic by following the show at T3M Podcast on all social media platforms. That's T3M Podcast. Leave us a 5-star written review and we'll read it on an upcoming episode. If you have an announcement that you would like to have on the show or just want to reach out to us, you can send us an email at t3mpodcast@gmail.com.
Have a zippity-doo-dah day!
See you real soon.